Hey friends, Christy here with Little Roots Ranch and the turkeys. I'm kind of far away from them, so maybe you don't hear them. Anyways, today I wanted to give you a mid-April garden tour and just kind of discuss what I've got going on here, why I've done things a little different this year, kind of experiments, and show you everything I've got going on. So first, you'll notice that behind me are a bunch of raised beds, which is funny because I remember a couple years ago, a lot of yins were asking, Christy, can you do more content on raised beds? And I didn't have any, but for all the reasons I mentioned in my last video before that or whatever, I did decide to go raised beds. Mostly my back, also making it accessible to myself and others, and just keeping everything, just a whole bunch of reasons. So I won't get into that too much, but I will show you what I've got going on. Now, to give you a couple updates, for those wondering about my house, I am still not home yet. I believe that I will make it back by May 1st, fingers crossed. For those who don't know, in January, I had catastrophic water damage. I had 3 pipes burst in my attic and ran all day, and my house is tiny, and so it took out basically the entire interior of my house. So I am going a little crazy, I'm not gonna lie, and I really wanna be back home. But they're getting close, they just finished the paint, all the walls are up, and I believe flooring is left, so fingers crossed. Anyways, to give you an introduction to the garden, one thing that I am doing different this year, as far as the sales side of my farm, are berries. Berries and fruit, I guess. 1, they're delicious and amazing. 2, they command a better price. 3, the majority of them are perennial or semi-perennial. You know, like with strawberries, they'll keep going, but a lot of times folks pull them out professional growers pull them out every single year and replace them. Semi-professional about every 3 years. For me, I'm not exactly sure. I'll look to see how yield is going. But so I've got kind of a couple quadrants. So basically over here, these first 3 rows, starting with this one and over, I've got my, I'm gonna forget the name. Cabot? I think it's Cabot. Strawberries, and they are really huge. They're supposed to be the largest strawberry on the market. So I don't know, we'll find out. And then I've also got them interplanted with my leeks, and I'll show you a close-up on that. On my other side, so those are the 3 rows. And over here I've got my Albion. Those are the ones that I have grown ever since I started farming. My favorite strawberry, hands down. And I've got 5 rows of those, or 500 of them, interplanted with onions. And so that goes all the way to the cross, which doesn't make sense now, but it will in a second. And then I've got blackberries, and then going back, I've got all raspberries and then all blueberries. And so this year, I'm currently going to intermix my personal vegetable garden, which will be, you know, I grow a lot of vegetables, you guys know that. I will be switching right now, or this year I'm gonna grow them intermixed because everything's still smaller, but I'm working on raised beds out by between the chicken coop and the greenhouse, so that way for my personal garden. And my plan is to have this be a you pick for my local community, you guys, family members, just to come and be in nature, pick berries. What's not to love about berries? But anyways, let me show you around. Okay, apologize, there'll be a lot of close-ups where I'm like, so it is what it is. Okay, so here we've got, again, these are I believe they're called Cabot, but these are June bearing. And I'll be honest with you, I have not grown June bearing strawberries before. I've always grown the everbearing, which is the Albion. So I don't know if I'll get strawberries this year. I know from the other ones I will, but I don't know about June bearing. Here I've got more June bearing, and you'll notice in the middle here are the leeks, and you'll notice these holes. So I dug down using a dibbler, which was just a post, about 6 inches each one, and then put the leek when it was just a little baby in there. And so the soil that's in there has just fallen in, and that allows me to get those really fat stems that are blanched. Let me show you the other side. Oh, there's the truck. All my worldly possessions are in there. Wah, wah, wah. But here, they look the same, but these are the Albion strawberries, which are the same here with these ones. You see they're interplanted. These ones have onions down the middle, and these are a purple onion. I don't remember the kind. They didn't have my regular ones. I usually do Patterson and Walla Walla, but they didn't have those, so I don't remember what I got. If I find it, I'll put it in the comments, but that's what my local store had. So here I've got more leeks, and I've got the strawberries. I've got my seed starting hothouse. I'll show you that after I'm done with the tour. It's pretty exciting. And then over here, we kind of move into the start of the blackberries. There's 2 rows of blackberries, and they're supported by the cattle panel trellis. And then I've also got some spinach here. And this is some old bok choy and kale and parsnips that are going to seed. So all my weeds around here are always vegetables. I guess there's worse problems to have. And then here, again, more strawberries. There's lots of strawberries. I've also got some peonies or peonies. I have no idea how to say that. On both sides. And then over here, I've got some more of the blackberries. Okay, this is gonna be funny. Those of you who know me know that I have never successfully overwintered rosemary. I know, don't laugh, don't laugh. It's my world's favorite herb and the name of my mom who passed when I was 13. Anywho, this year, or well, last year, 2023, going into 2024, I said the one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ensure I overwinter rosemary. And so I bought this cold hardy one, and whenever it got cold, I came out here with whatever that fabric is called, and pots and all that stuff to keep it warm. Well, this is what I was rewarded with. So wah 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 on that one. But I did, you see this one? Now this guy, I don't know how well he's doing, but that one over there did make it. So I think I successfully overwintered 1 rosemary. I started with 3, but you know what? I'm okay to play the numbers game. Next fall, I'll buy 200 of them, and maybe I'll end up with 5. I'm kidding. Okay, so here we've got more. Again, these are going to be a white storage onion, more Albion strawberries, lots of Albion strawberries, some rose bushes. There's one over here and one over there. And then we're gonna come up to one of my favorite things, or at least I hope it will be. I posted a picture of this on Facebook and Instagram, but a lot of you told me it didn't show well in the picture, and I'm not sure if it's gonna show well in the camera, but we're gonna go for it. So this right here, let's see, try and see if you can see it. So it's harder to line up. If you follow through here to that arch, down there, that is an arch made of 2 8-foot cattle panels. So I don't know again how well that's coming through, but what I did, oh, don't you love that thistle? What I did is I planted sweet peas on both sides. There's another one right over there by my garlic, but I planted sweet peas, and the dream is to have a beautiful trellis that smells amazing, looks beautiful. I don't know, we'll see, fingers crossed. But funny thing, so these are potatoes. I had potatoes in the ground before the raised beds, which are 2 feet tall, and so those potatoes have climbed through branches and tree trunks and 2 feet of compost and sand mixture and whatever else, and they're coming out. So it's funny because I won't be able to harvest the potatoes because I can't dig down that far. But there they are. But anyways, continuing the tour. I've got, these are raspberries, the tall ones. These are a kind of plant, I can't remember. See, this one over here has some flowers on it. A friend gave it to me as an early bloomer, which is exciting. I just don't remember the name. These are my snow peas. They're just starting to pop. Those were direct seeded, and somehow they what's getting bright? Okay, this is terrible. Somehow everything has left them alone. I don't know if it's the luck of the raised beds or whatnot, And then over on this side is the same thing, the sweet peas. And then I've got strawberries galore and onions, because obviously those are amazing. So here is my greenest bed on the farm, at least so far. This is my garlic. Now, obviously, I'm very proud of my garlic because it's just so huge. And then, of course, there's raspberry plants in between. But look at this beautiful garlic. I mean, already it's pretty big compared to my hand. And over here, of course, I've got some sweet pea seeds to grow over that trellis. And then we'll come over here. So remember that, sorry, I'm trying to like beat the light. Remember that cross I told you about? That's kind of right here at my well house. I left a wide thing because my pump's really old and I know someday I'm gonna have to replace it. And so I wanted a utility truck to be able to get through and pull it out when I have to pay so much money for a new well pump, but hopefully not soon. But anyway, so this is kind of the divider line between the strawberries and the blackberries. Now we're moving into raspberries and blueberries. So these are my blueberries. I just got them in the ground this week. So they are little babies. You might notice these little chip things here. Those are elemental sulfur. I did not use aluminum sulfur, I used elemental sulfur. I did a soil test. I know you're supposed to leave it like a year. I didn't have time for that. But what I did when I transplanted them, because blueberries need a really acidic pH, like 4.2 or 7 or something like that, super acidic. And our grounds and natural soil or whatever, and just compost, I mean, compost is a 7, I think, on average. And then our soil, natural soil, falls like a 6.2 or 4 or something like that. But what I did, because peat is pretty acidic, as well as I got composted wood, which is fairly acidic. And so the actual plant itself, oh, there's gonna be a siren. My turkeys are gonna go crazy. Maybe I should pick this one up. Oh no, it stopped. Okay. And so I dug around a larger hole. This is sand, by the way, to make it to make it drain well. And so I put that in there. So my fingers are crossed that that'll turn out well. So then here, these next 3 beds here are, well, this is a little time, but these are raspberry starts that just came, and then under the straw are my potatoes. So I've got a German butterball, a red Norland, and a little baby banana something. And then over here, I've got all the blueberries going back. We just planted these, so that's why everything's kind of a mess. And then here, I've got down the center is an ultra red rhubarb. Now, I've always had rhubarb on the farm, but this one's supposed to be the reddest, fattest stems ever. I don't remember, Catwood, I think it's called. I got that from Norse, which is where I got the strawberries, and the raspberries, which were himbo top, and the blueberries, which were Rika, Last Call, Blue something, I think Blue Jay, and Chandler, I believe, are the ones that I have. And then here I have more, they haven't come up yet, but more of the rhubarb. The 3 you see in the middle are golden currants, and then a couple of those little tomatoes over here. And then this bed is, hi boys, this bed is pretty interesting. These are all of my huckleberries, and they're kind of hard, or boysenberry, huckleberry? I always mess that one up. I think it's huckleberry. It is huckleberry. I always mess these ones up. So I'm really excited. I know they're hard to grow for commercial value, but I want to give it a try. So you see I put a bunch of the wood stuff around it and different trees to provide like a break for the afternoon, evening sun. And then these 3 are the cascade ones. They're really tiny, just really, really, really tiny. And I gave them a whole forest because, I don't know, I didn't want them to do that. Hi, boys. Do you want to say hi? Okay. And then in here is Sad Days. I planted some asparagus crowns, and they have not popped up yet. I presume they're coming, but I kind of would have thought they would have come up by now. but they haven't. So I guess fingers crossed, there's nothing else to do. All right, so now I'm gonna take you to our hothouse, which you know about our big greenhouse, which has nothing going on right now. But this is new. I got this from Costco. It was actually a couple of you saw me while I was there. I don't remember the price. I think it was $1,400. It was kind of steep, but I knew that I couldn't do my starts inside anymore because it's just getting too big, and heating my big greenhouse is just too much. And so, voila. So one thing that is my favorite feature about this, and honestly really made it worth it, is, and I'm sure if you guys have fancy greenhouses, you're used to this. I've never had anything fancy, so this is very exciting. So this greenhouse has one of those automatic venters, which is amazing because even with these last few days, we've had such sunny weather, but it barely gets over 81, which is great because I don't want to fry everything, especially right now I'm in transitional period. So as you'll notice behind me, I've got some of my greens like lettuce, arugula, pak choi, Swiss chard, collard greens, kale, Chinese cabbage, regular cabbage, that's broccoli, come back to this, sprouting broccoli, and cauliflower. And so I have those started because I started everything a lot later. One, being displaced from my house had something to do with that. But I also, as I mentioned earlier, this is kind of a year for experiments. And I wanted to see, because personally, especially when I was farming vegetables on a larger scale, I was talking to other farmers, and it's like, as gardeners and stuff, especially the larger scale you are, the more time, but you're always trying to fight back the bolting, and, if it gets over 70, then your sensitive greens will bolt, and trying to, there's the slugs and the rabbits, and I don't even know what some vegetable eating monsters that come out in the early spring. So I was already planning to try. I wanted to, push the boundary on my tomatoes, which I do that every single year. And then also my spring started greens. Now, again, being displaced from my home helped that. So that's kind of the first round. So the second round, and these were done, I use soil blocks for those who don't know. They look like brownies. They are not. I use Elliot Coleman's recipe. I think it's compost, peat, perlite, a mixture of, it's blood meal, gypsum, azomite. I add the azomite. What's the other one? Green sand? I don't remember. And then I think that's everything, and use a little press thing to kind of make them. But up here, I have my tomatoes and peppers, and those were started just yesterday on Sunday. Oh, well, those are flowers, or dahlias and zinnias. And those are in the 72 trays. Those are not soil blocks. Everything else is. So there's 80 peppers, 80 tomatoes, just started. And then down here is my eggplant, my cucumber, and my tomatillo. And so this is my first time starting this late. And I feel really good about it because I think, and I've talked about this a lot before, but I think as gardeners, we really try and do things early, and it's so exciting and all that stuff. But then when summer comes, we don't always get the result that we want. And I know that there are some of you who start peppers and tomatoes like in January, and I honestly don't know how you do it, and you get great yields and stuff. But the majority of people don't have that success, and not for lack of experience. It's more of just struggling with like space, or taking things out, or maybe if you have kids, or a crazy job, or 2 jobs, or a lot going on, or you're musician or magician, I guess. But anyway, so this is the hothouse, and the reason I call it hothouse is because I have heat down here. Now I'm going to show you it's not like all set up, but it's keeping it hot, and that's all that matters. So down here, I got this extension cord from Costco, and that runs to my house. You're not supposed to run a heater from your house or from an extension cord, but there we are. Then there's this thing, which is a thermostat. And so one part of it plugs into the extension cord and one part plugs into the heater. Now this is set to not let it drop below 64. And as you can see, it's 67.2. So how this thing works, I got this off Amazon, not sponsored. I got this off Amazon, but the heater stays in the always on high position. And this thing will cough up the power when the temperature gets low. So, and I've been monitoring it. First I monitored it at like 60 degrees or whatever, and it's been working, and I'm really pleased with that. So that's the setup I've been using. There's like a little thermometer right here, but also I've got a little weather station. Now this seems kind of redundant, but when I'm able to come back home, so this thing is connected to this. And so this will sit in my kitchen when I'm able to come back home. Right now, everything's masked off and there's paint, so it's out here. And then this one is just for looking at it. And then there's one more, which is this one, which is for, I think that's YoLink. And that one is for measuring the temperature and humidity on my phone. So I found that without buying a super expensive system, that I couldn't accomplish, excuse me, I'm getting over being sick. I couldn't accomplish all three things, which was seeing the temperature and humidity on my phone, seeing the temperature and humidity in the actual hothouse, and seeing the temperature and humidity from inside the house. And so to me, it made more financial sense to buy 3 different systems that work together. And well, there you go. Buy some extra batteries from Costco. But anyways, oh, and then of course, my secret ingredient. Down here, we've got the fermented stinging nettle. And so whenever I water or whatnot, or start new seedlings, I just take a little cup of that and I pour it in, because stinging nettle is amazing for everything. But yeah, so that's kind of a tour of what I've got going on, and some changes at the farm and all that. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you soon. I'd love to hear about what you have going on in your gardens, if there's any changes or things like that. But yeah, all right, talk to you later. Thank you for watching. Happy gardening. Bye.